Hi everyone, I'm Wessel from Nova Custom, and in this video tutorial we are installing the popular Linux distribution Linux Mint on our laptop. So you will need two things to get started: a laptop of course and a USB drive. So let's get started. The first thing we will need to do is to prepare our USB drive, and to do this you will need to go to the website of Linux Mint, which is linuxmint.com. Now click on download, and I'm selecting the Cinnamon edition here, and I click download, and now I scroll down and search for a location nearby, and I'm downloading the ISO file right now. So this will probably take a while. So in the meantime, we can prepare the USB drive. And I assume that you're on Windows now. And for Windows, I recommend Rufus as your application to flash the USB drive with the ISO file that you are just downloading. And I will show you how to do it. So I'm going to rufus.ie. I'm scrolling down to the download section, and I download the portable version of Rufus. So I'm opening the application, and here we are, ready to flash Mint on our USB drive. So I'm inserting my USB drive, and Rufus recognizes the USB drive, so I'm selecting it from the list here. So now I click on select to find my downloaded Mint ISO file, and here I have it. I click open to confirm it, and I click start to flash my USB drive. So a warning pops up, and we can just say yes and yes again. And the final warning is that all contents on the USB drive will be erased, which is fine for me. So I click OK, and now the USB drive is preparing. So after a while it says ready, and at that point the USB drive is ready to be used. So now let's restart our computer and install Linux Mint with our flashed USB drive. And to do so, I'm restarting my computer and I'm spamming the key that brings me to the BIOS firmware settings. On most computers this is probably F2. But sometimes it is F10, escape, or another button that you will need to spam during the restart. If you're not sure what key you will need to spam, sometimes the BIOS key is shown on the screen while the computer is booting. But sometimes it is not, so it's just a matter of trying. For Nova Custom computers, F2 is the right button to enter the BIOS firmware settings. So as you can see, I'm in the BIOS settings screen right now, and in this environment I can navigate with my arrow buttons, enter menus with the enter key, and go back to the main menu with the escape button. So this is different for every computer, but basically you will need to search for an option to boot to your USB drive. And for my computer it is located on the one-time boot. And then I recognize my USB drive because the second option in the list says USB, which is my USB drive. So I'm selecting this second option, and now I'm getting the grub menu, and I just select the option that is on top, which says Start Linux Mint. So I hit enter to continue. If this option doesn't work somehow for any reason, you can try the second option which says compatibility mode. But if the first option works fine for you, that's good, and you can just proceed with this option. So now we will need to wait until the Linux Mint has started. As you can see, I'm logged in now, and from here I double click on Install Linux Mint to start the installer. On the first screen, I will need to select my language. And I'm fine with English, so I click continue. And now it asks for the desired keyboard layout. English US is good to me, so I'm clicking continue again. And it asks to connect with a Wi-Fi network, which is not necessary for now, so I just select continue. It asks to install multimedia codecs, which I recommend for better compatibility with certain files. So let's select it and click continue. We are now at installation type, and here I select erase disk and install Linux Mint, because I have no important data anymore on my internal drive. So now I click install now, and do I want to write the changes to the disk? Yes, of course. Continue. So the setup asks me where I'm located. I select Amsterdam since I'm near Amsterdam, and then continue. And the last step is to provide a name, a computer name, username and password. So no worries, this is quite easy. Just fill in your name and the username and computer name will be generated automatically. Then I need to provide a password, which I'm obviously not sharing with you. And I have the option to log in automatically, but I select the option to require my password to log in. And that's not only because it's more secure, but also because you're more forced to remember your password if you select this option, because you will need to provide it every time you log in. So I click continue now, and as you can see, Linux Mint is installing on our computer. This might take 5 till 30 minutes, depending on your computer's performance. Okay, so the installation is complete now, and the installer asked me to restart my computer, which I'm doing by clicking restart now. So the screen becomes black, and you will see that Linux Mint asks to remove the installation medium, which is the USB drive. And we press enter to confirm that we have detached our USB drive from the computer. And that's basically it. Your computer is now booting into your wonderful new Linux environment. I would say well done. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you want to have a laptop with Linux Mint pre-installed, feel free to check out our offering at novacustom.com. Thank you again and take care. Bye.
Nova Custom. Own your tag.